Best Life 30, your 30-day journey to creating the best life possible for yourself. You can just watch this video, or if you want to sign up for the whole series for free and get the bonus companion worksheets that go with each video, check the link in the description below. All right, so today is day 10, and we're going to learn how you can build your confidence.
We all want to be able to change the way we feel. That's what I spend my life showing people how to do. And what most people don't know is emotion is created by motion. The way you move determines the way you feel. You have 80 different muscles in your face, 80. For most people, this is the largest area of unemployment in the country. They use the face the same way. They feel the same emotions over and over and over again. So what I was saying is I have this deal with myself called priming. Every day I say, look, you got to have 10 minutes for yourself. If you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, you don't have a life. And I'm not going to hope I feel good. I just got back 6 countries in 12 days. I was in India 2 days ago.
Wow.
And I woke up here feeling like somebody ran me over with a truck.
But you got yourself psyched up.
But the way I did it is I do this process. And it's 10 minutes. I put some music on. I do this massive change in my breathing, so it radically changes the way I feel. And then I do this 3-step process. First, I do 3 minutes of gratitude, where I think of 3 things I'm really grateful for, and I associate. I don't think of it over there. I feel it. And the reason is, when you're grateful, you can't be worried. You can't be fearful. When you're grateful, you can't be angry. And anger and fear are what screw people up most in their relationships, in their life, in their business. So I wire myself. I was saying to you that most people want to be happy, but their habit is to be worried or pissed off or frustrated or stressed. And so they've got a highway to stress and they got a dirt road to happiness. So I wire myself. I've got a highway to gratitude, which changes all your emotions. And then I do a 3-minute process of kind of a prayer for my family and friends. And then I do a 3-minute process of the top 3 things I want to accomplish. I see it as done and I feel it. I'm done in 10 minutes. So sometimes I go 20, but my deal is 10, so there's no excuse not to do it.
How do I gain more confidence?
It starts with yourself, man. You got to start diving into those things that you are afraid of. You don't gain confidence by going to the spot that makes you feel good. It's going to be a false reality. And the second life gives you that challenge, all you want to do is go back to what made you confidence or what gave you confidence. Is that happy spot? No. What gives you confidence, what gave me confidence, was spending years at a kitchen table trying to learn how to read and write on my own, realizing I can't learn the way you learn. I can't, but I can learn. What gives you confidence, not being afraid, is overcoming the fear. I used to stutter severely bad. So right now, I don't know how many people are going to watch this. You know what gives me confidence? Is knowing I no longer care if I sit here and start stuttering to you.
Yeah.
That's what gives me confidence, is facing these things, overcoming them. And maybe not overcoming them every day, but facing them and facing them and facing them. Pretty soon like this, you know what, man, this is where it's at. It's not in that comfort zone. It's in the discomfort zone is where my confidence is getting built. That's where it's getting built. But people want an easier answer.
Yeah.
There has to be an easier way. There's not. I'm sorry. I searched for it my entire life.
When I'm with cooler or popular guys, I feel inferior and worthless, which affects me. And weirdly, I try so hard to impress them and be like them, like a chameleon. I try to avoid them, but I feel left out. Whatever I do, I feel sad or useless. What can I do in order to overcome this? You don't have to hang out with people you don't like. There's a pro-life tip for everybody. You don't have to. One of the things that is a massive indication that you're hanging out with the wrong group of people is that you don't feel comfortable being yourself. The second you try to be somebody else or you feel like a chameleon just to fit in, you are trying to fit in with the wrong group. Relationships only work when you can be the real you. People thrive on energy. That's what drives connection. You're with people that make you wither and hide and feel insecure. You are with the wrong people. If it's hard to be around people, you're with the wrong group of people. When relationships work, they work because they click, and the reason why they click is because you can be the real you. They don't make you feel inferior. You're making yourself feel inferior by hanging out with people and pretending you're not yourself. So every time you're hanging out with a group of people and you act like a chameleon, you're actually invalidating yourself because your own actions are telling you you're not good enough to just be yourself around these people. So the only way to deal with this is either show up with that group of people and be your full self. And every time you think something inferior, just knock that thought out of your mind, say what you really believe, be interested in what you're really interested in, or The easier route, honestly, drop the popular kids and find your people. You need to find your people. And your people are the kind of people that the second you hang out with them, you don't feel like less of yourself, you feel like more of yourself. You don't feel like you gotta hide or be somebody else. You feel like you wanna express yourself and show up and be more of yourself. That's the indication that you have found your people.
Study the alchemy. Now here's what I mean by that. What happens to most people in life, especially the victims, is they reach a part of their life, a difficult time, and they call it failure. I mean, even just labeling a setback as a failure triggers something into your mindset to release cortisol, the fear hormone, which blocks your best performance. And so you want to see yourself and you want to study the alchemy, which is where other people are seeing a failure or a setback or even a little problem, you want to look for the gold. You want to train your brain so you have a dominant belief. It just becomes automatic because you've practiced it so much, where when someone says there's a problem or there's a wall or there's a failure, you literally see the alchemy to turn the lead into gold. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe you're going through an illness. A lot of people who watch this podcast are going through difficulties or outright tragedies. But you want to practice seeing the setback or the dark time as fuel to leverage your growth. And so on this first point about study the alchemy, no matter what you're going through in your life, whether it's a large difficulty or a small setback, you want to ask yourself, how can I use what I'm going through as fuel for my growth? You want to ask yourself, what is the gorgeous opportunity hidden inside this so-called problem? I mean, and if you look at the mass of humanity, they really train their brains to focus on problems. Right? They hit a wall and they just, because of their belief system, they don't know it because most people are not really that aware of their belief systems. So they blame it on the world. They blame it on the supplier. They blame it on the teammate. They blame it on their husband or wife. They blame it on their childhood versus understanding our daily performance reflects our deepest beliefs. And so if you are experiencing some kind of a setback, whether it's large or tiny, you want to train your brain to see the treasure within the lead.
And one of the greatest hang-ups that people have is the belief in themselves. They suffer from something called self-doubt. Many years ago, I read something. It was by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It was this essay on self-reliance. That's what we want to do. We want to rely on self. And in that, he said, there would come a time in every person's education when they'd realize that envy is ignorance and imitation is suicide. So many people look at someone that's doing very well, possibly in the same field they're in, and envy them. Do you know what that's saying? That's saying, I don't know that I have the same mental faculties you've got. I'm drawing on the same potential that you're drawing on. There is only one mind. I don't know that. So I'm going to envy you thinking you can do something I'm not able to do. The truth is, if you can do it, I can do it. Envy is ignorance. It's not knowing that. And he said, imitation is suicide. Do you know that nothing in this universe would move in the precise order it moves in your absence? That's true. Everything in the universe is essential. You take any part away from anything, it's not complete. And everything in the universe moves in a very precise way. So do you see, we shouldn't even want to be like anybody else because we are unique. We are truly unique. There's something about us that you'll never find in another person. We're unique. And we've got the godlike ability to think. Now, what is self-doubt? Self-doubt is the opposite of self-confidence. Confidence comes from understanding. Like I would imagine you're confident you can drive your car. In fact, you're so confident that you'll be talking to somebody on the phone, you'll get in the car, you'll start the car, you'll drive, and you'll drive maybe 4 or 5 blocks, not even being aware of what you've done. It's all done automatic. Your concentration is on the conversation you're on. Now, when you first got in a car, you couldn't do that. The car was probably jumping all over the place, and you thought you'd never learn how to drive it. But you learned how to drive it, now you're quite confident. You're confident that you can get dressed when you get up in the morning. When you were a little boy or a little girl, you couldn't do that. You had to be taught to do it. Well, you know, self-confidence comes, like all confidence, it comes with knowledge. And the more you study you, the more you understand who you are, the more confident you'll become in your ability to do whatever it is you're doing. And you'll know that if you lack confidence in an area, it's because you lacked information in that area. Never doubt yourself. And when you do, understand that the cause of that doubt is not lying within you, it's in wrong thinking, it's in not understanding who you are. Study yourself. Self-study will develop self-confidence, and self-confidence eliminates self-doubt.
Where does self-confidence come from?
Right, which is important because there's no relationship between that and eroding your self-confidence. In other words, self-confidence is really self-trust. So the first thing is, the people I know that are really happy are very self-aware. In fact, the best entrepreneurs I know are very self-aware. They're aware of their shortcomings, right? They want to improve them. They want to get to the next version of themselves all the time. And so for me, self-confidence comes because I didn't have it. And I think anytime you meet somebody like yourself or myself who might now appear self-confident, it's because I really had to find tools and resources because I was so insecure and shy and introverted. So I had to find techniques and resources to build that up in me. And for me, it's very simple. It's the promises that I keep to myself. If I have a habit over and over of beginning to stack one on top of the other of keeping promises I make to me, not other people. In other words, the minute you begin to get external in your life, worrying about what other people think about you, right? You've lost all control. And it never fills you up. And people's admiration, people's gratitude towards you will never fill you up. It's your own. It's your own inside. And so for me, self-confidence comes from keeping the promises I make to myself. And the other part of it is being aware I'm doing it. In other words, most people don't give themselves enough credit all the time. They're very aware of these 20% things and not aware of the 80, right? And that's why the dosage is so important too. You've nailed it. It should be 80-20, right? Because people get addicted to this. I'm not good at this. People don't like this about me. I don't feel good. Instead of focusing on the 80 and stacking it up. Wow, I did eat what I said I was going to today. I did get up when I said I was going to. I made the amount of phone calls. I treated people in such a way I promised myself. It's not just doing those things. It's rewarding it. It's being aware of it and stacking that up.
I always grew up heavy set, like larger than most people in my class or my family, like the younger girls in my family. My immediate family, my mum and my dad, they never really made me feel that way. Like in all of my videos of when I was younger, I'm in front of the camera, like super happy. My mum was like an instructor, like a fitness instructor. So she had like six-pack abs when I was growing up. Yeah, she was super fit. She would kind of drag me to all of her classes. But I noticed it most when I started going to school, obviously. You end up seeing people around you and the girls around you and the type of people that end up being liked or disliked. And you realize that actually it ends up being a lot to do with your physical form.
I want to go to what you said about your mum having six-pack abs.
Yeah.
Like, did it dawn on you at the time? Like, was there any envy or did it make you feel badly, or you were like, no, I was just a happy-go-lucky kid and it was cool that my mum had abs?
No, I definitely felt it. Like, you definitely feel it from a young age, and emotionally it was more when people would make comments about it, or when you can't fit into things, or when you see yourself in like a video with the rest of your family or your cousins and you're like the chubby kid in the corner, you know, you don't. But the confidence level, I think, only changed when I got to school, and I was surrounded by girls who I thought were more beautiful than me or skinnier than me. And it's so weird. I always feel that now, looking back, thinking that fitness was always related to how skinny you were. Like, that was my image. Growing up, that's all I thought. That to be fit, that means you have to be really, really slim. And it wasn't necessarily because of my mum, but it's just what you end up growing up looking at all over the place is women wanting to be super slim. And in my eyes, that meant for me to be fit, I had to be skinny.
So how did you not let that erode your self-worth? Or did it erode your self-worth? I
think it definitely did, because growing up, your self-worth, I feel, is based on everybody around you. When you're a teenager, it's how many guys like you or whether the guy you like likes you back. That ends up defining whether you love yourself or whether your friends love you. You're not stable, you have no rooting, and so everything that you base your love for yourself on ends up being external. And so I definitely had ups and downs of really thinking I was something when somebody liked me, and then when somebody didn't like me or my friends decided not to be friends with me, I would dislike myself. And so everything was based on external validation. for sure.
And how did you stop that loop then? Or when do you remember the first time you recognized it, that it was a loop?
Yeah, it felt that way for a long time, that I felt something was missing. Like, I knew that my love for myself could not be based on other people. There had to be something else that I could have a foundation of. Okay, fine, there can be ups and downs, but I never go down to a low where I don't love myself. And I definitely think meditation was the turning point for me. And I felt that because it was the one time in the day where I would end up spending time with myself. Like, I feel like people don't do that. We spend time on everything to do with hair and makeup and clothes and on other people, looking at other people, talking to other people. But I felt like I wasn't spending any time actually thinking, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am. And I feel like in a relationship, whether it's with yourself or whether it's with somebody else, you have to know yourself to love yourself. We never get into relationships with people or friendships with people without knowing them. You can't fall in love with someone without knowing them. And so I felt like, okay, who am I? Like, I actually don't know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I dislike. Everything that I like or dislike is based on other people. Everything that I like about myself is based on other people's likes of myself.
They're saying like, oh, you've got beautiful eyes, your hair. So
Exactly.
like, my eyes and hair must be lovely.
Exactly. And so everything is to do with, oh, they like it, so that must be who I am. And so I felt meditation was the first time, or just journaling was the first time I started writing down things about things I like about myself or don't like about myself. And so it created more of like a relationship with me. I was having a relationship with myself finally, rather than my perception of myself because of other people.
God, I love that.
There are some people around us who just seem like they are born with natural confidence. You know who I'm talking about. They're super smooth, super confident. They always know the right thing to say. Think about President Obama. He just seems like a smooth guy. Think of one of his famous "Yes, we can" rally speeches. Not being political here, just talking about his oratorical skills. What do you notice about how he speaks? He's powerful. He's decisive. He speaks slowly and almost never stumbles or stutters. His points are clear and they're to the point. He's the epitome of confidence when it comes to a speaker on stage. So when you look at somebody like him, it's very easy to assume that he has some innate ability that he was born with. Either you have it or you don't. But the truth is, confidence is a skill. And President Obama, just like all confident people, built that skill. He practiced it over a lifetime. So here's a simple example of how you can control your confidence in less than 20 seconds. Take something you routinely say, like what you did this weekend, and change the way you say it. I want you to channel your inner super confident person. It could be Barack Obama. It could be Susan Sarandon. It could be whoever you want. Don't focus on who it is. Don't even worry about what you say. Instead, focus on changing how you say it. Sit up straight. Speak slowly. And imagine what you're saying is incredibly important because the people listening want to hear it. Let me show you an example, a little before and after. I can't even remember. I mean, I think it was pretty good. It was actually pretty crazy, but I just went to a movie and saw some friends, the usual, I guess. Now let's compare the after. We had a great weekend. I was with the kids on Saturday. Then Michelle and I caught a Broadway show and finished the night at that new sake bar downtown. Now, what'd you notice? Notice first that I'm intentionally using someone else to role play. This really lets us get into play acting without worrying about our own life, our own Saturday. Ooh, maybe I don't have as cool of a life as going to a sake bar. Don't worry about that. All we're doing here is working on our delivery. Remember, nobody sees inside of you. They don't see how confident you are, how much work you spent practicing. All they see is the way you answer a question or the way you sit when you're talking to them. So when it comes to confidence, confidence can actually come from the outside in, not just from the inside out, which is what everybody tells you. So instead of waiting for it to just magically appear, where's my confidence? Where is it? We're actually changing our behavior. something everyone can do, and we're letting the confidence follow. The external influences the internal. And once you master this concept, you can apply it to a lot more than just how you speak and how you sit.
I want you to borrow confidence from the past. You see, when we're doing something where you have to muster up the confidence, we think of the things that could go wrong. We think of, well, what if I don't come through? What if I don't say the right things? I need to rehearse this over and over. What if? What if we change that? And instead of thinking about what could go wrong, of course, we know this, start thinking about what can go right. But better yet, rob confidence from the past. Go look in your past at times when you weren't sure if you'd go through, but you made it happen. When you thought you wanted the girl and you got the girl, or you got the guy, you got the job, you got the deal, you got the money, you got the sale. A time you scored the touchdown, you got the run, you were good at band, you were the star of the play. Rob confidence from the past. Remind your body, remind your cells, remind your subconscious what it felt like, and bring it into the present time. I'm telling you, you can transcend that old confidence into your current state and watch your state of mind change just like that.
I get kicked out of college. I got kicked out of college my second year because I didn't want to continue to run track. I took my team undefeated the first year.
Wow.
And they went from not having won a track meet in 2 years at all to going undefeated in 1 year.
If you could attribute what allowed you to lead the team to do that in one or two insights, what would it be?
I had unwavering confidence.
Did you cultivate that, or was it natural? Was it cultivated at home, or was it personally cultivated?
My dad and my mom, they I don't know if it was brainwash or encouraged me. I could do anything.
Yeah.
Like opposition didn't scare me. It never have scared me. Like I don't look at how big the mountain is if I can climb it. I go, are we gonna climb it? And what do we need to climb that size mountain? You don't measure if I can do something based on the size of the opposition. You decide we're gonna do it and then decide what to do for that particular scenario. Very different strategy.
When you look yourself in the mirror, what do you see and what do you say to yourself?
Probably the most egotistical things that I say. I'm probably most egoed out when I'm talking to myself, which means that I've got a lot of confidence and ego. I really, whenever I talk to myself in the mirror, it's always the same thing, which is like, you're gonna do it, man. You're good. Like it's real good stuff. And it's not like false pumping up. I only do it 7 times a year, but like something would have just happened, either adversity or something great. And I'll look myself and say, we got this. I got a funny, Kevin Durant walked off the field, off the court the other day against the Warriors. And it was a big game, day before the Super Bowl, and they lost. It was the first time they played, and the Warriors are having probably the greatest season of any basketball, right?
Yeah.
And he did something that me and AJ took note of. He kind of shook his head and said, okay, yeah. And he gave me that like, okay, you won, but we'll see you. And we got a shot. I got this.
Right.
And that's what I do with myself. Like if something good or bad's happening, I'll look myself in the mirror and I'll just say, like I know I'm built for this.
We like people who say, I've got something to offer the world. And people are very reassured by confidence. You know, we're all scared that we're going to come across as arrogant, but if you're on a flight and you hit turbulence, you want a confident pilot. If you're sick, wouldn't you like a really confident doctor to go, oh, I'm the best doctor in New York, I'm going to make you better. You don't want to go, well, I don't want to brag, you know, I'm sort of okay sometimes, but you know, he's better than me. We don't want our kids' teacher to go, well, I'm not the best, you know, I have good days. We want them to go, I'm the best teacher, and I'm going to give you back your kid in a year's time, radiating confidence and talent. You know, we pay for that, and yet we're so scared of saying, I've got a gift, I've got a skill, this is what I'm good at.
You see the two biggest enemies to success. Number 1, self-doubt. Number 2, fear of the unknown. We struggle with self-doubt. We worry, are we ready for this? Are we good enough? Do we actually have what it takes to succeed? Confidence is nothing more than believing in yourself. And believing in yourself is nothing more than doing the things that you once didn't believe that you could do. You see, confidence comes from competence. It's easy to believe in yourself when everyone believes in you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about believing in yourself when you're not ready. Believing in yourself when no one believes you. Believing in yourself when everyone doubts you that you cannot do it, that you cannot make it, that you don't have what it takes. That is when you need to develop that unshakable self-confidence, that believe that you can do it. And confidence is not the same as arrogance. You see, arrogance is thinking that you're above everybody else. Confidence is knowing that no one is above you. Do you feel confident enough in your own abilities that you can do what it takes? Are you willing to bet on yourself? Not just words, but action. How often you invest in yourself? Are you willing to put everything you have on the line for your goals and for your dreams? Do you bet on yourself or do you procrastinate? Do you hesitate? Are you a perfectionist? Do you suffer from paralysis analysis?
Is the confidence level good? Do you feel nervous about bringing new music into this world after not having done it for so long?
I think it comes with the music, you know, determines everything about how you feel. And I think when we made this record, the last few years we've been making this record, it was like we were all so on the same page about the kind of album we wanted to make. I mean, what is the point at this point to put a record out unless we think it's going to be like amazing and our favorite record we'd ever done and like our best work, and like, you know, we had to really fight to make this record. It wasn't like we just, you know, glided into the studio and had the luxury of time. It was really like, it was this passion and this drive to want to really make it and have to fight for it. So with all that hard work behind us and to actually know what the record is, because we're addicted to it and listening to it in our cars and like just about ready busting to share it, there is a confidence that comes with it, because, and it's more about like knowing how much we love it and knowing the people that are actually supported us and that they're waiting for it and they're excited for it. It's those people that give us the confidence, the people that have given us this life and supported us, those fans, I guess, that kind of just gets you riled up. It's exciting to share it, you know.
One thing that Sky mentioned in the last panel about building relationships with people before you need something from them. So really thinking about how do you reach out to a VC. You may not be raising funding now. You may be thinking about it, but starting to build those relationships early. So Cam had that kind of relationship. He mentioned Mark Schuster, he's one of the biggest venture capitalists in Los Angeles. Tell us a little bit about how you cultivated that relationship and how it grew over time.
I think I had a level of confidence that most people don't have. And what I mean by that is I try to make people relearn everything that they think that they know about people like me, right? Traditionally, a rapper is just this thing like, oh, he's just a rapper. It's a bad thing, right? But I started getting frustrated with people throwing that stuff at me, and I would change it and say, you know what? Being a rapper means having your finger on the pulse of the millennial generation, right? To be hot like Jay-Z for such a long period of time, you have to know what the young generation thinks. You have to know what they dancing in a club, what kind of sounds they like, what kind of shoes they wearing, what new car, and you have to be ahead of the curve. And you can use that as an advantage. So when they throw this rapper thing at me, I switch it around and say, nah, that's what it is, right? And then a lot of the people that are out here putting capital in all these companies and investing in all these companies, they don't even use the products. Like a lot of y'all could probably tell me about Snap more than they could. So once I started to realize that, it just became a confidence that I started having. And I would talk to them like, no, actually, it doesn't work like that. It works like this. And then they would be like, what? And then I would prove them wrong. And the next thing you know, they're listening to me for insight. So it didn't necessarily happen like that with Mark Schuster. Mark Schuster was a person that just recognized that. And he was like, you know what? I like your confidence. I like your understanding of social. Let's just build a relationship. And it started from there. So he offered to invest in me like 5-6 years ago, and I just wouldn't take his money. I was like, nah, I got my own money. Next thing you know, I started giving him my insight on all kind of companies, and I think he understood the diverse opinion coming into the room and how valuable that was.